everybody, and welcome to another episode of Street Smart University's Peak Performance Masterclass. Now, we are your #1 resource for personal development content straight from the world-class experts. And today we are indeed delighted to have with us Miss Karen Leong. Karen is an influential communications coach, she's a much sought-after keynote speaker, and she's also the director of Influence Solutions Private Limited. This is a firm that provides professional training and coaching to many clients from around the world. So if you'd like to learn more about Karen's services and her profile, you can visit her website www.karenleong.com, which should be shown on the screen right now. Right, Karen, thank you for coming down and taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you, Vincent, and I want to say a big hello to the Street Smart University users. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so perhaps we could talk about a little bit about your background. So I understand you were an accountant for about over 10 years. So what made you take the plunge, to go into coaching, such a different field?
Vincent, I was an auditor, and that was with KPMG. Before going into coaching, I actually went into a very different business as well, and I set up a fashion business for 2 years. And it was while doing fashion that I realized that helping people look good was good, but it wasn't good enough. That's when I realized that my true passion lies in helping people feel good and be at their best. So I went to become certified as a master trainer with the American Society of Training and Development. And I think it's about 8 years since I've co-founded a learning and development organization. It's interesting, but that gets me out of bed every morning. I mean, doing what we do, which is to help companies be more profitable by helping people be more productive.
But was it a very smooth sailing path along the way? You must have encountered some setbacks or obstacles that, really made you question why did you choose this path?
Vincent, it is quite true that there are always going to be obstacles. And I've realized that, in my career, in my corporate career, I think what really helped me was that I always saw obstacles as opportunities. And even when I was in my corporate career, I feel that I was being prepared because I had a very entrepreneurial mindset. So you could say that I'm very lucky and fortunate that I was given incredible opportunities to start up offices in Hong Kong and to take on a lot of projects in China, whereby I was given free rein, almost like to run a business on my own. So it's because I live by the principle of doing something that scares you every day. I think it's a Baz Luhrmann song that I really connected with. And because of that, that I'm not afraid to take risks, and I feel that paved the way for me to find what I love to do. And I think I'm really grateful that, that I get to do this right now.
But do you recall any specific incidents that really made you want to give up and really, just want to stop?
To share with you, there was a point of time in between when I was just about to when I was doing my fashion business, and then I set up this learning and development business. I was actually running 2 businesses at the same time, with 5 staff in one and another 5 staff in the other. And I can just remember having already kind of taken a lot of, there was a lot of rental overheads when it comes to having a boutique and we had a workstation. It's like we took also another unit for my designers to work on. And I needed to make sure that my 5 new staff in my learning development company was also ready to be up and running. And that's when I remember having a conversation with my former partner, because the funds were so tight, and yet I was determined to succeed. I shared with him my vision about my company in learning and development, and he said, "Karen, you know what? I'm going to support you." He actually gave me rent-free space in his Shenton Way office with 5 staff for 6 months. So I'm just truly grateful that, my former boss had so much faith, but more importantly, it made me realize that in life, it's really all about relationships. That it's no man is an island. And when we aim to be successful on our own, we must remember that you are actually going to be more successful if you help more people achieve success, and the world will come back to you. So that has been one of the biggest turning points in my career.
So in a sense, we should be more people-oriented rather than, I would say, task-oriented.
Vincent, you said quite rightly. Many of us, for example, in school, what do we learn? I graduated from NTU in the Bachelor of Accounting. So we focus on gaining technical competence. However, when you go onto the real world, realize that technical competence can only get you so far. It's really about people skills that makes the big difference, because in companies, it's all about knowing how to work with and work through other people, and to be able to get results through people.
So one of your passions is also really about empowering women to succeed in the modern workplace. So in your opinion and your experiences, what are some of the challenges that most women face, especially in modern society?
Thanks for asking this question, because more and more in this world, we are realizing that women are becoming really important, not just at home but also in the corporate environment. And I just I was just speaking in KL to about 1,000 women leaders, and I just want to share with you a story that my company was engaged by an international bank to do a very interesting project. We worked with 25 of their high potential women leaders. Okay, and it was for 1 year. And at the start of the project, I asked the women, okay, can you put on your creative hats and can you draw the ideal managing director? Okay. And after 10 minutes, we had 2 amazing realizations. The first thing is we realized that, hey, bankers can draw. Okay. That's one. But the second more fascinating realization was, Vincent, every single one of the women drew a man. And I asked the women, I said, what compelled you to all draw a man? And there was silence in the room. And that's when I shared with the woman that, everything in the world is created twice. First in the mind, then on ground. That until you can see yourself being a managing director or being up there in the senior management, it's not going to happen. Until you believe it, you see it here, that's when it will truly become reality. So very often for women, it's really also first recognizing what's inside, believing in ourselves, and that's often the first step. Small step, but it would open the doors to huge opportunities.
So from what I'm hearing is, it's not surprising that, personally I feel it's not surprising that many women would really draw a man in the authoritative figure, because that has probably been the case for the past, donkey years.
It's true.
But times are definitely changing, and so what you're doing is really building belief in these women leaders that, hey, I can envision myself in that position of authority despite what society may say. And I think really in the background of these changing societal values and beliefs, I do see, I do agree with you that empowering women is the way to go, and we'll definitely see more women leaders, be it in a corporate or a social leadership roles.
I think it's heartening. We have a lot of role models today. And one of the early role models, Margaret Thatcher, the former British Prime Minister, she famously said one thing. She said, if you want anything said, ask a man. If you want anything done, ask a woman. But what it goes to show is that women actually play 2 roles, and we have to focus on the home, and we also focus on our careers. Not to say men don't, but women as a gender are biologically wired to be nurturers, to be caretakers, to be givers. So at home we take care of the husband, the mother, the parents, the children, friends, And at work, women also do the same thing. They're often the givers. What women must remember, and perhaps you can learn from men as well, is that very often, being good is good, but showing that you're good, right, is also very important. Because unless you can show that you're truly making a difference in the work that you do, unless you can make your results visible, what happens is that women then lose the opportunities to make bigger impact in the organizations, in the workplace, in society. So we're just telling women that, okay, it's great, but do make sure not to hide, behind, but venture out and show more of yourself. Make your personal impact visible.